A group of college friends consisting of Haley, Grant, Paxton, Paige, Elise, Madeline, and Lucas rented a place for Elise's birthday celebration. During a drinking game, Harriet and Grant, who used to date, discreetly revealed to their friends that they had broken up on their way to the mansion. They expressed feeling that their relationship was heading in separate directions. After depleting their beer supply, the group of friends scours the entire house in search of hidden alcohol until they stumble upon a restricted room. Inside, they discover a collection of artifacts, including a wooden box adorned with a zodiac wheel. To their surprise, the box contains a deck of intricately hand-painted tarot cards. Since Haley possesses knowledge in tarot card readings, the group convinces her to conduct readings for each of them. Despite sensing a potential issue, Haley proceeds with the readings. She starts with Elise, who is given the High Priestess card, with a reading that she will be climbing a ladder, but is warned to slow down. Madeline gets the Hanged Man and is told that her zodiac sign, Pisces, tends to run from danger. Paige receives the Magician card, with a reading of, she is pulling in a different direction, and the magician will prevent you seeing him directly. Paxton gets the Fool, with a reading, he is choosing to go an unexpected way, and he will end up with a box that opens its doors, and the other is closed. Lucas draws the Hermit card, which predicts both wealth and the possibility of love, hinting at a potential connection between him and Madeline. Despite Grant's reluctance to participate, Haley proceeds to read his cards, and he is dealt the Devil card, warning him of a potential loss of someone dear to him. Finally, Haley conducts her own reading and draws the Death card, indicating that love may be her downfall. Shortly after, a series of images reveals the reawakening of an ancient evil. The group departs from the mansion and heads back to their campus. While on their way, Lucas makes a quick stop at a gas station and wins $700 from a scratch card. Upon reaching home, Paige and Elise have a conversation over the phone, before Elise hears strange noises emanating from her attic. She notices that the ladder has descended on its own, so she takes it back. Later on, the ladder descends again and she decides to investigate. As Elise peers into the attic, she catches sight of a shadow moving about. Suddenly, she looks down momentarily only to look back up and find candles flickering all around. To her horror, Elise is confronted by a terrifying apparition of the High Priestess from her tarot card, causing her to lose her balance and fall from the ladder. The High Priestess proceeds to violently slam the ladder onto Elise's body until it shatters and impales her. Elise's friends, particularly Paige, grieve over her passing. Haley remains by Paige's side, offering solace by sharing that she turned to tarot readings when her mother battled cancer. Despite seeking readings for good fortune, each one foretold death. Lucas escorts Madeline home, hinting at a romantic connection from the reading. However, they simply embrace before Lucas departs for the subway. As he navigates the station, he is pursued by the Hermit, who shadows him until he unwittingly enters a restricted rail yard. The Hermit traps Lucas in a stationary train, terrifying him and leading to a fatal accident. Haley comes to the realization that the deaths of Elise and Lucas are linked to their tarot readings. After conducting some research, she discovers that a woman named Alma Astrom has knowledge and a connection to deaths associated with tarot readings. Haley, along with Grant, Paxton, Paige, and Madeline, decide to pay Alma a visit. Initially, Alma turns them away, but changes her mind when Haley reveals their situation. Alma invites them in and quickly identifies that the deaths are connected to specific tarot cards from the same deck they found. She informs the group that anyone who has used these cards for readings has met a tragic end, with Alma being the only survivor of a similar series of deaths in London. Alma goes on to recount the history of the cards, explaining that they originated in the 1700s, when a wealthy count consulted an astrologer named Sunčika Milanović for a reading, resulting in a series of deaths. The astrologer, accused of witchcraft, cursed the cards and took her own life, binding her spirit to them. Alma advises the teens to locate the deck and destroy it. Paige makes arrangements to reserve the mansion in order to locate their way back and demolish the deck. During their journey, the group of teenagers begins to feel anxious about who among them might be the next target. As they drive over a bridge, Grant's car gradually slows down before eventually shutting off completely. Suddenly, Madeline notices the eerie image of a hangman materializing on the misty window, and she realizes that she is the next one in line, despite her previous reading, suggesting that individuals like her tend to flee from danger. The others propose going against the reading's advice to prevent their own demise. However, Madeline disregards their suggestions and impulsively exits the car, with Haley following closely behind. Grant, Paxton, and Paige hastily abandon the vehicle when another spirit begins to attack. Madeline continues to run until the hanged man lowers his noose and seizes her by the neck, effectively hanging her in front of her horrified friends. Haley, Grant, and Paige decide to return to the mansion, but Paxton chooses to go back to campus on his own. Haley reminds him that his card said choosing to go an unexpected way, but he refuses to stay with them and go. As he makes his way back, he becomes the target of the fool, who relentlessly pursues him with a maniacal giggle. Paxton manages to reach an elevator just in time, but the fool's mask starts changing expressions ominously. The fool manages to enter the elevator and lunges towards Paxton, creating a tense moment. Meanwhile, Haley, Grant, and Paige successfully make it back to the mansion and discover the deck of cards. They decide to dispose of it by throwing it into the fireplace, but to their surprise, the cards refuse to burn. Alma arrives to join them and offers her assistance. She decides to conduct a seance in an attempt to contact the spirit of the astrologer. However, the seance takes an unexpected turn, and the astrologer ends up performing a reading for Alma, drawing the Six of Swords card. Suddenly, Alma is pulled into darkness and later emerges dead with 6 swords embedded in her back. Filled with fear, Haley and Grant flee, while Paige becomes separated from the group and becomes the target of the magician. She finds herself in an audience, where the magician uses her as an unwitting assistant. Paige eventually finds herself trapped in a box and is tragically sawed in half. Haley and Grant are in hiding, anticipating the arrival of their assailants. She discloses to him that a reading she did before they became a couple had predicted their relationship's failure, but she chose to disregard it. Another reading she conducted before their breakup delivered the same message. Subsequently, the devil materializes to take Grant away through a window, while death begins to pursue Haley. Upon reaching the deck, Haley concludes that the only way to break the curse is to perform the astrologer's reading. She proceeds to draw the death card for the astrologer, utilizing the opportunity to release her sorrow over her mother's passing, and also attempting to persuade the astrologer to let go of her own grief regarding her daughter. Grant intervenes to shield Haley as a surge of energy obliterates the astrologer's spirit, causing the cards to ignite. A brief glimpse is depicted of the astrologer reuniting with her daughter in the afterlife. Haley and Grant stroll away from the grand estate, their hands intertwined as they catch sight of a vehicle drawing near. A sense of trepidation washes over them, fearing it to be yet another apparition. However, their anxiety quickly dissipates when they recognize Paxton, alive and in good health, stepping out of the car. Overwhelmed with relief, they embrace him tightly, realizing that his premonition of aiding his friends in an unforeseen manner has indeed come to fruition. During their journey back, Paxton elucidates that his survival was made possible by his roommate Todd, who bravely opened the elevator door, causing the fool to vanish. With the curse now lifted, Grant asserts that they have the power to alter their destinies. And so, the movie draws to a close,